Wait, do you ever get disappointed when you're showing someone something for the first time and you really want them to get it? And
No,
they
not
don't?
at all. I think
Yes.
Oh.
Matt knew exactly where I was
Absolutely.
going with that question.
I'm clearly an Eeyore.
I'm probably Rue.
I'm a Christopher Robin with a Pooh Rising.
And then I get in a canoe and I'm like, Clairs don't like canoes.
No, they don't.
I'm afraid of this lake.
That's exactly what it was.
Ow.
It was a beautiful moment in our friendship. I was
literally in the middle of getting hers up and down the
Pathetic.
stairs. Ow. I was like, I'm trying to get my hair done. I'm like, God.
I don't think that's an accurate representation of my owl.
Well, you were in such pain you couldn't see clearly. So,
Trauma.
Thank you for listening to the Last Will podcast. I'm Matt Young. I'm a theater educator and a parent. And ever since I lost my father to cancer, I have been mildly obsessed with death. This is my last will and testament. Coco Chanel once said, "Guilt is perhaps the most painful companion of death." I don't know what that means, but our episode today is about guilty pleasures. And I really couldn't find any quotes. Not by anybody. No one is talking about guilty pleasures, so I had to look for quotes about guilt. And most of them were unknown, like guilt. The greatest guilt is to not follow your heart by unknown. I mean, anybody could have said that. Anyways, today's episode is about guilty pleasures. So, I hope you enjoy. Is that really what we want to do?
That's a fun one.
We
Yeah.
don't even know
Yeah,
how
yeah,
to
yeah.
do it.
yeah, you
What do
do.
you mean we
'cause
don't-
yours
we-
is Love Island.
Okay, fine. I guess we'll do it.
Is that really just Love Island?
No, I have
You have
plenty
so
of guilty
many.
Yeah, but
pleasures.
that's
It's like
Matt's-
one
that's the
category.
president of Matt's guilty pleasures.
but-
it's like a pyramid.
But is it
Love
ju-
Island's at the top.
Okay.
And I did watch an episode of Green Park because they watch a lot of like network TV, which we don't have. And they just walk around with their shirts off and then go find couches to sit on, and then the other people talk about the other people while they sit on couches. And the two people, I don't know, it's a lot. And then you see the ringer come in, and everybody turns around.
Wait, is this still Love Island? What are we talking
Oh my
about?
goodness.
No, this is the inauguration, Rose. Yes, this is Love Island.
I was listening to you, but I got a little confused because you're on different channels here, and my I set the mics up wrong.
You're on different channels.
So
talking
I'm
about
like
that.
looking at Grady's line, and it's not making any noise, and I'm fiddling with it, and then all of a sudden Claire's line was making a lot of noise. Anyways, no one is interested in that shit. So
Is it
I just
guilty
switched them.
pleasures?
Nailed it.
Oh God, look at that rain. Jesus. There's so
I
much rain
love a
out
good
there.
rain, though.
Yeah,
but not when I have to go places.
That's true. You do have to go
It's-
places.
We've had this weather's been shit this summer.
Yeah, it's been
Shit
like really
summer.
hot, and like you can't do anything. Or it's been like oddly cold, which is like not really cold. It'll be like 70, and we're like, ooh, we gotta get a sweater on.
There was a couple of real cool
Gotta
days.
get a bath.
Dehydrated.
Oh my God.
Um,
I feel like guilty pleasure to me like also encapsulates not just TVs but also
Music, food.
I don't know about
Food's a
food.
guilty pleasure for me.
I don't
Oh, yeah,
have
definitely a
to me
guilty
it's
pleasure.
not guilty. I'm not
You don't
guilty
feel
about what
bad
I
about
eat.
it at all.
Yeah.
I saw Deadpool Wolverine, and I had my yearly, once a year, Coca-Cola Icy.
Didn't you have it though when we went and saw Bad Things? No, what was it?
No,
Poor Things.
I did not. I brought my own water because they didn't have it because Ghostbusters was out, and all they had was the ectoplasma, nasty like green flavors
Ectoplasm.
or whatever. Or maybe that was another
Oh,
one.
I'm
But no, I did not have it at that.
Still in the middle. I switched the.
Or
things,
did
but
I have it then? Did I have two?
I think you had two.
Oh my God!
Because I
what
think
have
you said the
done?
same thing. You were like, "Look,
I make a big deal out of it.
oh, you do."
I do. I make it. I've always said. I think because
The lady doth protest
I
too
think
much.
because
methinks.
I used to be so addicted to drinking Coca-Colas.
Me
I
too.
still love them. They're so
Me too.
crisp, so refreshing, right out of the can. Love it in a cold
Oh
bottle.
God.
turning us on.
Also, in the bottle in the South, my grandmother used to do this. You put the Planters salted peanuts, pop them into the Coke bottle.
What?
What?
Drink them, and eat them at the end.
Wait.
What?
Okay. Wait.
Yes,
Stop.
it
Stop.
go-
Pause.
What?
Pause.
Rewind.
Just pause. Welcome to the Last Will podcast. It's good to be back. Thank you for joining us. Today we're talking about guilty pleasures. Grady, please continue with dropping nuts in your
Okay.
Coca-Cola bottle.
So it's
Peanuts.
a southern
Peanuts.
thing. The Planters salted roasted nuts that are so delicious and wonderful and not healthy. You take your cold Coca-Cola in the glass bottle and you drop your peanuts into it.
How many?
Many as you want, girl.
Well, that
Free
depends.
country.
Like
Crazy
3
girl.
might not be enough.
It's
10 might be perfect, and 30 is probably too many.
okay.
Put that in your Coke bottle and smoke it.
Am I trying to taste it while I'm drinking the Coke, or is it I'm eating
makes it a little.
Coca-Cola
It makes it a
flavored?
little saltier, which is cool. And then you eat the peanuts at the bottom at the end. Oh God! Have I choked on
So
one
wait.
before? Perhaps, but
Well, so I haven't ever shared with you my intense Coca-Cola addiction when I was a teenager.
well then because we both have it. So let's.
Well, it was like concerning.
But
Like my,
before we move on from that,
Wait.
I just want the recipe. Like, I don't know that you were clear with what you said to Claire. It's got to be a bottle of Coke, right?
Mm-hmm.
it can't be a can.
You mean can? Sure.
Okay, how many nuts do you drop in the Coca-Cola?
He wouldn't tell us.
Well, we're gonna look at it.
Oh, he's
Peanuts.
looking
How
at it.
much did you prefer?
Okay.
Yeah, how many?
I like maybe 4 or 5.
Oh, okay. That's,
So it's
yeah.
it's not like a handful. It's
Peanuts and Coke, sometimes called a farmer's Coke, a snack in the southern United States made out of peanuts soaked in Coca-Cola. So you can do the whole thing where you soak all the peanuts in it, or you can just do it in the bottle. These are the ingredients: shelled peanuts, although the Planters dry roasted salted are the best
dry roasted salted.
because they have that texture that I don't know if you like a Planters dry
I wanna
roasted
get- I
nut.
wanna
Yeah.
I
get
swear, I mean, I can eat a whole motherfucking thing of those.
Oh my god.
So the history, combination believed to develop in the South 1920s for blue-collar workers did not require them to wash their hands. It quickly became.
yeah.
Excuse you.
No, what did I
I
do
just-
anything? I just made a
look,
face.
You're making a face like you're either
Yeah,
going to
'cause
fart or you're smelling a fart.
It was a reaction to not washing your hands.
I didn't
It became
understand
a-
the connection of putting peanuts in Coke and not washing your hands. That's what I didn't understand.
Because they don't have to touch it, the workers. And a
You
blue
have to
collar.
touch it to put it
in-
in. Oh, sorry, I'm eating.
Well, that's
Okay,
that's
now it's
true.
well, it's starting to make more sense. But like,
So it was a
maybe they just slid them in.
Then it became a summer snack. So I remember when we'd be at the lake, my grandmother would go ahead. She'd put the peanuts in there for me, bring me the Coke. I don't know how many she put in, 4, 5, 6, 7, the long bottle.
Okay, yeah.
It became a popular summer snack, especially in rural areas. Rural.
Rural.
The snack became an internet trend in 2018. Missed that.
Damn it.
Me too. Totally missed that.
And I guess, yeah, it's
I guess I just wanted to know: am I putting 30 in, or am I not putting?
no.
I think we start off with 5.
And it's absolutely one of those things you go, I had no idea these went together, but this is fucking delicious.
Shit,
I
that's
think a little
terrible.
salt and sweet, as you
You-
know.
you like a savory sweet?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that you were both surprised.
Well,
Shocked.
That is
Not
a guilty.
surprised.
That is a guilty
Shocked.
pleasure because the peanuts are not. They're just not good for you. They're all.
Well, you
well,
the peanuts
Coca-Cola
are.
is not great
No.
for you. I've actually made a pretty active effort in trying to reduce the amount of soda I drink, and Coke is one of those because I love it. I
do
can't have
not-
Coke every
I
single
do.
day.
I know. Believe me.
Yeah.
To hear that.
Well, my parents just bought like a 24-pack of Coke. I'm like, you guys
What-
haven't had Coke here. in
What was your
years."
favorite Coca-Cola slogan or commercial ever?
Oh my god, I don't know.
Because they have the best jingles and
I mean, I
things.
loved the ones with Santa.
They ended.
Oh, the polar bears.
Yeah.
They created Santa. Isn't that true? Like they created the
image that
reason
we
that
have?
Santa's in red is because of the Coca-Cola company.
I
They
think.
used to have
I
t-shirts
think
that
there's
said
something.
Coca-Cola.
No, I think you're right, Matt.
yeah.
Actually, if you guys come to my house, you'll find a lot of Coca-Cola paraphernalia that my parents bought at Cracker Barrel.
People take it. Yeah, the
Like
Cracker Barrel love
Coca-Cola toothpick dispenser,
Coca-Cola.
a Coca-Cola bin that I
what
keep my
bin?
cleaning
Yes,
supplies in.
right.
Oh my god, I have
the
to
wooden
send you a
bin.
picture.
Yeah. So my grandparents
I
were
pro- I
very
sh-
into
I'll flip that
collecting
back and
Coca-Cola stuff,
forth.
and I have a lot of Coca-Cola memorabilia as well.
Well, definitely, a guilty pleasure. I drink a lot of soda, but it's all diet, so
I should
I'm
definitely
poisoning
get that,
myself
like,
more with
tattooed
that.
on
You
me or
actually
something.
are. Just
Yeah,
go ahead
yeah.
and drink a regular Coke.
No, because it's the carbs and sugar
I
for
know.
diabetic. That
Oh,
just,
man.
Anyways,
I can't drink.
the story of Coca-Cola and Santa Claus is closely tied to the marketing campaigns of the 1930s. While Santa existed long before this time, Coca-Cola played a significant role in shaping the modern image of Santa as a jolly red-suited figure. In 1931, Coca-Cola commissioned artist Hayden Sundblom to create a
Sundblom.
series of advertising featuring Santa enjoying a Coke. These images depicted Santa as a warm, friendly figure, often seen laughing. Ooh, flash flood alarm.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots
All
of rain
right.
today.
Friendly, warm figure, often seen laughing, sharing gifts, or relaxing with a bottle of Coca-Cola. The ads were designed to boost winter sales and resonated with the public, reinforcing the idea of Santa as a symbol of joy and festivity.
There you
I
go.
have heard that too. Like Coca-Cola was mainly thought of as like a summer drink.
Yes.
And so Coke was trying to figure out how do they make it
Year-round,
accessible.
yeah.
Wow.
And now you're like, oh, I want a crisp Coke. You see the polar bear. It's in your psyche. I
Yeah.
want that Coke for Christmas
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So let's talk about guilty pleasures.
Okay.
I just read something to you. I'll read something more, and then we can move on. The definition of guilty pleasures, right? We
Yes.
got to get that out there. Guilty pleasures are activities, interests, or indulgences that someone enjoys but feels some degree of embarrassment or guilt about. These can include things like watching cheesy romantic movies, listening to pop music, or indulging in certain foods. So foods are there. The term reflects a conflict between what one enjoys and societal expectations of personal standards. No, the term reflects a conflict between what one enjoys and societal expectations or personal standards. That's the definition of a guilty pleasure.
Grady showed me his nipple while you were reading that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he unbuttoned his shirt and pulled out his
that
nipple.
didn't happen.
I think that's a pleasure for all. That's not a guilty pleasure.
It's
is
not
it?
my guilty pleasure. I don't know
Oh,
why he
oh,
did it.
well, you know.
Maybe that's his guilty pleasure.
It could be.
Fine.
Somebody was satisfied there.
My shirt opened. Big deal. Nothing to see.
It's the summer.
It's the summer. There's nothing to see.
It's raining.
Oh no!
I was trying
But
to show you
bet
my,
it's
my
hot out there,
Coca-Cola
too.
tattoo around my nipple.
I bet you it's still hot out there though too.
I'm wearing a sweater.
You could enjoy a nice crisp
It's,
Coke to make it.
yes, there you go.
So
ho ho ho.
what other guilty pleasures? Okay, one of my guilty pleasures, food wise, and I don't do it a lot any more. But there's a savory and there's a sweet, and it used to be the Hot Pocket and the Pop-Tart.
Oh, wow.
I never, especially as an adult, buying Pop-Tarts and then blaming my kids on having the Pop-Tarts in the house absolutely happened. I haven't had a Hot Pocket in a while, but I used to love the convenience of a Hot Pocket.
Hot Pockets.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't think I've had a Hot Pocket maybe ever.
It will scold your mouth in a way that you've never been scolded before.
Scold or scald?
Both.
Scald.
Both.
Like hot wise?
It will
Yes.
berate you and burn you.
Wow.
That's true. Thank you
I
for the
went-
clarification.
I went through a Pop Tart phase a couple years ago where I like would eat.
They're in your bag, like. for
I
like-
couldn't stop eating
Need
them
a
all
snack.
day, and then it also just like that, and then it was over.
I can't.
I think I gained like
I was about to
5
say.
pounds.
Five
They'll-
Pop-Tart pounds?
They'll put on the weight quick.
Because when you have that addiction, you don't wait for them to be toasted.
Well,
You
no,
just
I
pop
was
'em
eating
right
them
in
raw.
raw.
Sometimes you don't want them toasted because you want that icing and the edges crisp. I like to just eat the edges around, and then I'll give somebody the Pop-Tart.
What?
What?
I just
That is
want.
the
You don't
worst part
eat-
of the
You don't
Pop-Tart.
eat.
No.
Yeah, I am yucking your yum. What?
You eat. You don't eat the icing part.
Okay,
Or
I've
the
said
inside?
nothing to you. You were ugly to me about the Coke and the thing, and you're like, "Oh, Pop-Tarts and Hot Pockets. That's disgusting." Second of all,
Wait, I love these.
No,
things.
it's not really.
Are
It
you
sounds
eating?
good.
Are you eating the broccoli?
I
tree
love
stumps
pie
or
crust.
the-
I love
Okay.
pie crust.
Okay.
So I eat the crust off of the hot pocket and then give someone the hot
Okay, but
pocket.
you don't eat the
I feel like
inside?
there's no sugar in that.
I love the crust.
All right,
I
Matt.
feel like
let's
it's
say
healthy.
you
My
and I
mother
have
or
learned
grandmother
Grady is
were-
did a little different than you and I. Like we
I
like
find it-
the inside of the Pop
I
Tart.
find it really
He doesn't.
satisfying to eat that outside, or I break it off, and that way you can have it, so I didn't put my mouth on it.
I think you
and
just
I'll
like the
clean my
breaking. I
hands.
think you like the breaking of the outside. I think that's the satisfying part to you.
Maybe, but I love crusts.
Okay, so-
I would get in trouble as a kid because I'd pull the crust off the pie and just eat the crust.
That's like the opposite of what a lot of kids do.
I
I'll
don't-
eat a
I wouldn't-
sandwich, like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but I will only eat the inside
I
and I
wasn't-
won't eat the
Yeah,
crust.
I wasn't the kid that put his finger like in the pie and tried to hide it. I ate the crust off of it, so it was completely obvious because I pulled the whole crust on.
What
I'm
about
ruining
pizza?
the entire
Did
aesthetic.
the crust that you
I love
had,
crust.
Are they sugary crust? Because I know
Maybe
there's
like
lot
a
of,
graham
like-
cracker crust. Oh,
Yes, that I can understand, but like the Pop-Tart
just like
crust
a bread crust. It's like
doesn't have a lot of
croissant.
sugar
It's like
in it.
croissant. It's buttery.
So,
No.
what about pizza
Yes,
crust? Do
it's
you eat
buttery.
the crust of the pizza and you don't eat the pizza?
I feel
no,
like that's even sweeter.
I ate the
though,
crust
too.
of the pizza because all the nutrients are in the black parts of it.
Is it really nutrients?
The nutrients are in the burnt parts.
Yep. Here you go.
The bubbles.
It's
What?
not carcinogenic.
Oh, well, thank God for that.
I don't understand that. Okay, so I do think you like the satisfaction of breaking off the order of
Ooh, I
breaking
love
off
it.
the
Absolutely.
boundaries.
It is a boundary and order thing. I don't know, but
You like a frame. You like
I don't.
to eat a
Yeah,
frame.
and then it's like, and then so if you do one part of it, you have to do all of it. So I used to think as a kid, like, oh, I guess if I eat all of it, no one's gonna notice. Really?
Well,
Yeah.
next
The
time my mom
beautiful
makes a pie, I'm going to
hand-done-
bring you the crust. 'cause she
Hand-done
makes a good
crust.
crust. Yeah.
Like a crumble. I just want to scrape the crumble stuff off the
Well,
top and
I-
not eat the.
I get
inner-
that because a crumble is like sugary
Yeah.
and crumbly.
I just know that when I was married, we had they made a lot of pies and they were great, but the crusts themselves were not savory, but there wasn't sugar in that crust. It wasn't the sweet crust that I knew from buying pies, which is what happened in my family. Actually, we didn't buy pies. There wasn't a lot of pie eating in my family at all. It was always more elaborate bought desserts.
Yeah.
Although my sister was a baker, she would definitely
Yeah,
bake a
we're
lot.
big on baking in my house.
Other food guilty pleasures.
I love anchovies.
Really?
Love them. I love them
By themselves or in something?
by themselves.
Wow.
But not like every anchovy. Like you gotta.
Not every
it's gotta
anchovy
be
is
like
built
I
the
think
same?
it's like the Greek kind or something. And
Okay.
they're in like a jar and they're they look kind of gross, but they're in like some oil. And yeah, no, ever since I was a kid, we'd go to a restaurant where they had anchovies on the salad and I would eat the anchovies. And sometimes I like anchovies on my pizza.
you're such a cat. It feels like such a cat thing to do. Like I just
Claire's
remember
been in her
Heathcliff.
cat phase for a long time.
I'm always in a cat phase. But
And by the way, that's a myth that it's carcinogenic.
Yeah.
Sorry. I just looked that
Grady's
up.
been silent over
So
there.
they say that because their parents say now the nutrients are in the crust to get the kid to eat the crust.
Yeah. No, I feel like they were trying to trick you into eating the burnt parts.
Like, not to interrupt you, but really quickly, but like a crustable, those things they make. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I love
that's where
those.
I mean, no, I need.
it's lazy.
No.
It's laziness personified.
I
And
will only eat Uncrustables
really
because there's no crust on them. I don't waste my stomach space
Acid
with
or-
crust. Just eat the good
you
stuff.
you are really a 12-year-old.
Well, I was reintroduced to Uncrustables a couple years ago for my girlfriends, and
You're like 12. Matt's
I can't find them
sometimes
anymore.
around like 20, and I'm like 80.
Yeah, it seems all accurate. I had an Uncrustable, and then I got really, really sick, and I don't know if it's the Uncrustable's fault,
It's not.
It was the Uncrustables' fault.
It's
but
not.
I
It's
seem to
not.
blame it.
No, no,
Boy,
no.
I seem to
now
blame
you
it.
got-
Peanut butter and
now you
jelly.
got-
What could go wrong?
No, you have food avoidance from that. Now
Yeah,
that
yeah.
scared you. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
eat one again. I ate a bad Stouffer's French bread pizza, and it gave me those are delicious. They've changed the recipe though. Something's not quite the same with it. You know what?
Someone has to have them a lot to offer that out.
do you know when you can tell
they've
it-
changed the recipe?
As a kid, we always had those in the freezer, and I would have them every. Well, yeah, I would often eat them, but I'd have to hide and cook them because I didn't want to eat what was given to me for dinner.
I have once taken one of those Stouffer's pizzas and gone, that'd be just as good if I put it in the microwave, right?
Oh
No,
man.
it's not even.
It's
no,
like
it's embarrassing
it's-
how bad it is.
You don't
Yeah.
get that.
No,
I mean, talk about satisfaction of breaking crust.
yes.
That whole thing is just crust.
No, yeah. No,
I mean-
everybody listening knows
I love it.
what a
I
douchebag
like
I was
Stouffer's
for
mac
doing
and
that.
cheese. I've had that for years.
Stouffer's mac and cheese?
Very good.
Microwaving anything is
It's questionable.
Yeah, it's rough.
I gotta say though, I
You-
sympathize. Like if I feel so fortunate that I live with my parents who cook for me. They like to cook. Like when they're gone, like
You don't eat.
I'm like I have crackers for dinner, like crackers and ice cream. Like maybe I'll make dinner like one night, but it's always the same recipe. Like I'm always like cooking the same
You
thing.
need a caretaker, Claire.
A guilty pleasure late night would be to eat Parmesan by the spoon.
Yeah, it's well.
And I like to let it sit in my mouth and get
Wow.
like
I've never thought
like
of that.
this is so
I'm learning so
gross.
much from Grady.
It's
Yeah.
so
Doesn't like crust,
so
Parmesan by the
gross.
spoonful.
But it's just cheese.
No, it is just cheese, strong
Yeah.
cheese.
But it's
stinky
grated.
cheese.
It's grated Parmesan.
Mm-hmm. And you just get a spoonful, and you can feel it in your mouth start to coagulate and turn into like a piece of regular cheese.
It's like
Ew.
natural Pop Rocks.
I'll give anyone time to get a trash can.
But I want to go back just a second. So Stouffer's mac and cheese is your.
It's not a
your
guilty pleasure. It's I mean I've been eating it since I was a kid.
Obviously easier because you microwave it over a Kraft mac and cheese, but you prefer Stouffer's over Kraft.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying as I'm getting older, like the days that I can have Stouffer's are limited because it gives me it's a hit or miss reaction, and I got to
Well,
be careful.
Tell me what a hit is.
A hit would be like I'm fine, I'm good.
She's
Miss,
dancing. She's
Right.
yeah, like
Well, for
I'll be at
active
work.
evening.
Yeah, I'll be at work and everything's
What's
fine.
a miss?
Miss would be like within 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, I have to go to the bathroom. Yeah,
Wow.
and then it all comes out.
You're willing to risk that, and I get it.
I get it.
I get it. You're willing to risk that, and I'm saying I'm all for it. Get in there.
Yep. I haven't done it in a while though.
Candy's guilty pleasure for me. I don't eat candy. I don't eat candy bars. A Coke is definitely a guilt. It used to be a thoroughly wonderful pleasure. That is a very guilty pleasure. I don't know. the
No, it's
last time.
it's a rare pleasure. I wouldn't
Rare.
say it was a guilty pleasure, but
It's
like
rare.
rare.
I do feel guilty though when I do it because I know how bad it is for you.
Mm-hmm.
What
And I'll keep thinking of is if you put a penny in it overnight, it'll eat through it.
Yeah. No, I'm a
can
little.
clean your
I'm like
toilet
that.
with Coke.
I'm like that with Coke now too. I
You-
try
you
to
leave
think
Coke in
twice
the
before.
toilet
Yeah.
bowl overnight.
Isn't that
And then you
terrible?
wash it the next morning. It's all white.
should we make the new famous toothpaste out of Coca-Cola? Like stained teeth can turn white if we
Oh, that's
catch them in
terrible.
Coca-Cola.
I don't know how I feel about that.
What about okay?
Let me have a donut and think
okay,
about
yeah,
it.
do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of donuts here.
That's a guilty.
Is
pleasure.
there should be a donut in there for you?
There
Did
is. I
see
know.
it?
I see it. I see it. I see it. I see it. It's.
I
right-
already ate like 4 pancakes
Okay,
this
good,
morning.
good. I was like, this
It's
is
the
why I get
cannoli.
it.
The cannoli is in there. I saw it. I saw it when I got it here. I didn't want to make a big deal if someone else wanted it, but I'm gonna eat it.
I'm so glad I didn't
I'm
eat
gonna
it.
eat it all.
I know, right?
God, I just ate a whole one. I didn't even ask if anyone wanted to split it
No,
with
you
me. I
didn't.
just ate
The
it.
Nutella
was
one is
it-
for you.
It
Oh,
was
okay.
a Nutella
Yeah.
one, but that's your jam.
It is good.
I got a banana
I-
one, which I think is
I
for
went
me, but like if somebody wants it, I'm willing to.
Did anybody ever go
change.
through the phase where they thought Nutella was actually a healthy option to people?
Yeah, that happened to me
I
this
did.
year.
And then, oh, okay.
I was eating like strawberries and Nutella
When
for
I
like
went-
Like,
meals.
look at me,
It
I'm
was
so
like,
healthy.
Why am I feel heavier? It's like I'm just have Nutella, just be easier. It's more healthy. Somebody's like, that's just chocolate and sugar and
Yeah.
nuts.
I will say,
Like, no, it's healthy. That's why the kids on the front having it. Clearly, it's healthy.
I never
Like
thought
a Kinder
fluff
bar
was healthy.
I thought Kinder bars were healthy. They're not.
No,
They're delicious.
they are
They're not
not healthy. No.
Have you guys ever had Vegemite?
My
Yes, I have.
ex-sister-in-law and I got into a fight over it.
I always
Actually,
get
it was
into a fight
Marmite.
with people
you
It was
about
like
Marmite
Vegemite.
over Vegemite.
You like it on
Well-
anchovies?
Well, when I went to New Zealand and I learned about Vegemite, Marmite, whatever, and everybody was like,
Marmite's more British.
well,
Vegemite's
they
more
were like, you have
Australian,
to try
right?
it. You have
Yes.
to try it when you're here. And I'm like, all right. But they were like, just be careful. Like, you're not going to like it. And I'm like, whatever. I slathered that shit
No,
onto some
like
bread.
it was Nutella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, why the fuck do these people like this? But I guess you're supposed to spread it like lightly, like
Very
like
thin.
mayonnaise.
A
Very
guilt- a
thin.
guilty pleasure-
Whoa, wait a second. What?
Wait.
Who spreads mayonnaise lightly and thinks that they're doing something good for themselves?
Mayo's very touchy with me.
Oh, Jesus.
Mayo's
Matt
very
really likes
touchy with
I
me.
mayonnaise.
love mayo.
Well, too much mayonnaise is not good.
What?
But you don't want too thin.
You
of
gotta go to the south, get Duke's mayo. It's the best.
Whatever. Okay, so we're still in food guilty pleasures.
I love smoking.
Oh my God.
I wasn't ready to move. I wasn't ready to move on. I was
know.
going to go to fast food.
I just wanted to say
but you
before I
went right
forget
to
it.
smoking.
Thank you.
I gotta say
Thank
before I
you.
forget
like
it.
my aunt says, as soon as I'm up to the pearly gates, I'm lighting up. I miss it so much
Why do you gotta wait till you're dead?
because I don't want it to kill me. I'd like to die of natural
I've been
causes
smoking
or either
just
jump
fine
in front of a
and
train
I'm still alive.
or on top
Not
of the hair
still,
dryer.
though. When was the last time you had a cigarette?
So I can't look at Marb menthols for a while, maybe ever.
Marlboro menthol.
Oh, you made the switch?
No, it was a couple weeks ago. I was with a friend,
Oh.
Did you
and
smoke a menthol?
he had some, and I'm like, vacation.
Newport's the way to go if
Is
you're
that
going to
what
do it.
you told
Ew.
yourself? Is that what you told yourself?
And then, well, because sometimes if I'm just
God, don't you miss it in the
Yeah.
car with the windows down, heat on, having that cigarette?
yes,
Miss it so
but
much.
then I got really sick for like a couple days,
Because the fiberglass.
and I got like really sick, and so
I'm-
I'm like, I can't even think about
It
that.
would-
anymore.
a cigarette would
I
make me
smoked
retch
for
right
many,
now.
many years, and I've never
We are all
really
big
heard
smokers.
of Marlboro menthol. Like I never met a Marlboro menthol
Like-
smoker.
like that's what they buy.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's terrible. I mean, I'm surprised. Like the last
Newport's what
couple
you
of
would
months
use.
that I've
Yes.
come across some cigarettes, they're like, oh, they're menthols. I'm like, why the fuck are you buying menthols today?
And
like,
I w-
menthols were for when we
What
were
was your
in
main
college.
brand? What was your main brand?
I mean, if I'm gonna smoke today, it's gonna be American Spirits.
Dunhill Red.
Well, you are a fancy man.
Or Camel Light. I was a Camel Light guy
I
for
love
a
the
long
Camel
time.
Drop
flowers.
off from a Dunhill to a
I
Camel Light.
learned on Marlboro Reds.
Yeah,
So I started with no lube.
those are hardcore.
Trust me, I
Wait,
know
Matt,
that.
what did you smoke?
I definitely went through a phase where we were all smoking Marlboro Reds because that's what we had. For the most part, it was Camel Lights and Parliament Lights. Those
Oh,
are the
you're
things
Parliaments
that-
are good.
Parliaments
But they
remind
had-
me of acid. That the taste.
They had
I
that
loved
little
the filter, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my sister used to smoke Merritts, and they just
Ooh,
were the, they
I
were
love
the
a
worst,
Merit.
but they just tasted so awful to
No.
me. And I think people knew that they were
Merit
awful,
Lights?
and so that's why she smoked those.
I
most
like
of
the
time.
Merit. Oh,
But
'cause
most of the,
nobody
most of the time
bummed
it was
from it?
Camel Lights. Yeah, because no one would bum from it. Can I just say though, because we are making this podcast for my kids,
Oh, sorry.
I don't. I wish I'd never smoked. I'll tell you right now.
because it was so good. So kids, look,
No.
try it. If you
No.
can, if you could smoke,
No.
and do it a little bit.
No, you
that's
can't.
fine.
No
but
one
if you
can.
if you have to have a pack every day, you can't smoke.
no.
You can't
No.
smoke.
Don't do that.
But when I switched to vape, I want to say 13 or 14 years ago. I was on vape early.
But didn't that become
like
more of a
Ricky
tactile
Gervais was
thing for
on,
you? You're like, I don't really want it,
pod-
but it's
No,
just
it's
the act of it was like it was soothing for you, almost like a stim.
Yes, but like
You don't miss
a
the high
stim-
from the vape though, or like
no, but I missed the hit.
that's what I mean though. But it all goes together. It's a
Yes.
the stimming part. It's a ritual thing. You like to
Yes.
go outside, do the vape.
Yeah.
That's a 2-second thing. You take a breath, walk outside, and come back in and go. All right, people, we open in one day.
But I always knew that I could not go back to smoking cigarettes because if I did,
He doesn't talk
I would
like that
not
to
be
his
able
actors.
to. I would not be able to get off of that.
I think the,
you know what?
the vaping for me
I
is
did have a cigarette a couple of years ago at a reunion, a school reunion, and I felt so sick the next day.
Nice.
This is like 4 a.m. I was like, I'll just do it. I'll be fine.
Oh yeah, no, that's kind of a rough one. If you haven't smoked in years
Nah.
and then you have one at 4 a.m.
And then you're at the
Ugh.
mercy of whatever somebody else is smoking. I was
Ugh.
like, sure, I'll have a Marlboro Light.
Yeah, when
Ugh.
I
Yeah, I didn't like the
traveled
Marlboro
when I
Light.
Did not
traveled
like a
in New
Marlboro
Zealand,
Light.
everybody had Pall Malls, and I
Ooh,
refused
I
to
love
buy
a Pall
them
Mall.
because they had
Smoked a Benson and
well
Hedges.
because on the
Ooh, I like a Benson and Hedges too, and I love
oh,
Capris.
Benson and Hedges. I forgot
I
about
love the
those.
Capri.
Oh, you know I used to smoke clove cigarettes.
Remember
Ugh.
Those were the best.
Ew.
Really?
Ew.
I hated those.
I'm so
Ew.
sorry.
Ew.
Yeah,
Ew.
Well,
yeah.
they're
Ick in
No.
your ick.
they're illegal
Ick, ick,
now.
ick.
So
Are
They
they
should
really?
be.
Yeah, they're-
yeah.
they're
Your
out.
insides are literally burning on fire.
yeah, they're terrible. Yeah.
You're smoking potpourri, basically.
Oh.
No, I probably would smoke American Spirits. I smoked those for
Of
a
course
little,
you
those are
would.
better for you.
Please, please. I
Th-
can't.
Nothing is. No smoking is good for
Sustain-
you.
They're
It's got
sustainable.
fewer
They
chemicals.
they
in
burn
them.
too long. They
Oh, I
burn
love
too
that.
long. I'm like, I can't. I'm like half an hour. Everybody else is
Don't-
through. I'm
don't
still
meditate.
half of an American
Well,
Spirit
here's
down.
what I will say, and then we can move on.
Capris.
We
You
can
never
move
liked a
on.
long one?
I
love
my
a
first
Capri.
pack that I ever bought when I turned 18 were
Was?
Misty Lights.
Ooh, a Misty. Play Misty.
They were
for me, baby.
120s. They were
Ooh, I love a
so
120.
long, and I remember like being at a
Grandma.
bar, and like I was 18. My friend like worked at the
Do you
bar,
remember Nat Sherman?
and I like went.
Yeah, yeah.
Who's that?
There's like a Dunhill.
Oh,
Right, but
Pr-
they
I
had the
probably-
gold ones that they were all
Yeah.
colored.
Virginia
With the gold
Slims.
tip?
Fancy.
Smoked
Ooh, I
Very
love a
fancy.
Virginia
So were
Slim.
you
Those are
at the
so-
bar
I'm at
smoking?
the bar,
What
and I'm
don't I
like,
love?
there's some guy there, and he's like, he asked for a cigarette. I'm like, yeah, they're Misty Lights, and he's like, what?
I think I'll just go with the
Listen,
craving
There's
instead.
on a side note, it must be a guilty pleasure for. I'm going to speak for men. Men would not, if I had a Capri or something like that, which I used to when I was in that phase. I smoked those. Guys would not. But I come on the smoke here. No, never mind, because it's seen as a woman's cigarette.
Yep.
So
What- oh,
it
really?
would be a guilty pleasure maybe for a man to enjoy a Capri. I'm not afraid to say, hey, I love them. I love a Virginia Slim. I love a 120. Anything that's long like Cruella de Vil and I can have a moment with it, I'm fine with it. And I got to tell you, those Capris, they're delicious. They go down easy. They're lovely. They're so nice and compact and long. You have a great time with it and put it out. And you feel like you didn't even have anything.
If you ever get to play Mrs. Peacock, I'm letting you smoke Capris.
Hey.
Okay, but on a sad note, when I was growing up, like
Oh,
my dad
no.
was a smoker, and I
Oh.
was so heartbroken about it because I learned about
That's
how
funny
bad
because most
smoking
kids
was.
that have parents that are smokers, they don't smoke. It was what I've found. And if you have parents that don't
My parents
smoke,
quit too early in my
for you to connect that.
but I knew they were bad.
You made your own bad choices.
Yeah, no, and I knew they were bad. I knew they were bad too. But like, you just want to be cool like everybody else. And
Yeah, I was.
That's why
I
you
was.
start. Everybody else is
I was
doing it. That's
I mean,
why you
100%.
start.
I was at summer camp.
I
so-
didn't
was
start because I was like,
100% peer
oh, I
pressured
can't
into
wait
it.
to start smoking. I'm 13 now. No, my buddy was smoking. I'm like, yeah, do you smoke? Yeah.
Well,
of
I
course
remember
do.
taking one of my dad's like packs of Camels, and I would hide it under my bed because my mom would tell me like that's how her dad died. He
Oh,
died
jeez.
of
My
lung
dad,
cancer.
That's how my grandfather passed.
Yeah.
He had esophageal
and I'm like,
esophageal
I'm
cancer.
just emotional. I don't want my dad to die. My dad ended up quitting cold turkey when I was like
I
16.
quit cold turkey.
And that's when I picked it up because my sister had
But
a.
somebody in the house had
When you're
smoke.
done, you're
Yeah,
done.
exactly.
Listen, when you're done, you're done. When you don't want it, you don't want it. When I was done, I stopped, and that was it. Didn't look back.
I don't think that's ever happened to me.
My dad stopped because he had pneumonia.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
just,
good.
He
Yeah.
had pneumonia and he stopped, and then my mom, to like support him, stopped as well. But they stopped pretty much cold turkey.
So that's just guilty. There's no pleasure. Although
Yeah, no, no.
There was pleasure in the ritual.
I fucking loved
Pulling
it.
it out, packing the.
Boys,
packing
don't do it. Don't
I
do
love
it.
to pack it.
Don't do
No,
it.
no, don't do it. If
Why?
you can, no, to the listeners.
Yeah, don't smoke.
Yeah.
Oh no! Don't smoke at all. I wish I had never.
Me too. Wish I'd never.
Okay, so moving on to other guilty pleasures.
Though
Wipe
I wanna
back
s-
to front or front to back?
Although I don't know if that's a guilty pleasure. That's just a style. Someone
Well,
chooses
Some
it.
people don't even
To
wipe.
go against what you do
Yeah,
sometimes
just
is like
rub it under the bidet,
you
right?
go, that was brave.
Yeah.
Oh right, you got the
I,
washer, the butt washer,
No, I quit my vape last September.
right?
So I'm,
And I'm
almost
very
coming
proud
on
of
a
you. I'm very
year
happy.
of not smoking at all, and I don't think I've been grumpier, but deep inside me, I'm like so like
You still miss
sad.
the ritual of it. Taking the minute to go outside, do it for a second, have a minute. So find something else.
Yeah, but with the vape, you don't even have to
Fine.
go
just
outside.
buy
new hobbies.
buy a Benadryl
Yeah, don't
inhaler.
don't
and
buy
just-
a vape ever. God, at least like with the vape, I was smoking in the car, out of the car, in the bedroom.
I know
in
it
the
was.
morning.
I
It
smoked
was
so much
so
more
bad.
because I could.
And I didn't even like it. I would just do it just because of the ritual. And then I would
I don't
finish
think you had
it.
the right vape because I liked my vape. I really liked my vape.
But you didn't love it that much.
No, I didn't love it. No, the boys saw me do it all the time, and they
Were disappointed.
Yeah, they didn't like.
That's
They're
what
much
see their
happier
dad
with me
smoke.
not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know that they will. They're very. I can't get them. I keep offering them coffee in the morning. I'm like, you guys want coffee? And they're like, I don't drink coffee. I'm like, all right.
Well, once you take it away from them, they're gonna want it.
Yeah, I was like, you
I
can't
don't
have
know.
coffee.
I mean, I
no, but
definitely-
I agree
They
with
come
that
out- they
theory
come-
though. Like you
listen.
pull stuff away and then
They
like
come out
crave
here
it.
and see a padlock on one of the things.
I wanna have
whatever's in there. They'll
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I give them everything that they want.
And
I
it'll
don't-
be so much coffee.
but I like to offer it to them every day.
amount-
Yeah, I definitely think like I was 100% victim to the peer pressure of like I would take a cigarette from my sister's room because I knew where she was hiding them, and I would go outside and I would practice smoking.
You had to because you didn't want to be uncool and cough
No,
everywhere.
because the
in front
first
of
time I
front of
got
the
a
mirror?
nicotine high,
You
I was
yak.
terrified.
you throw
I
up.
I like called a friend. I was like, "What just happened to me? Like I'm gonna is it like this forever?" And she was like, "What the fuck are you doing smoking?
Yeah.
It's 3:00 after school on a Tuesday." Like, and I'm like, I was just practicing.
Didn't realize that tacos were for Tuesday at that point. So you're just like,
this was
let's have
before
a
Taco
cigarette.
Tuesday.
So one of the other guilty pleasure. Well, I guess we can get to entertainment guilty pleasures
Yeah, absolutely.
instead of habits. But the
Here
one
we
thing I'm going
go.
to say in terms of my food, I always felt guilty. I really liked Arby's. Like I really
Arby's is
liked
good.
Arby's,
They've
and
something's changed there, but that French dip used to be so
What did they used to
and
get
the
there?
everybody
curly
used to joke
fries.
about it being
The
so
curly
disgusting.
fries. It was
I
delicious.
fucking loved it. I loved it. There's not an Arby's around us anymore, so I don't.
I
have
haven't
to
had it
worry
in
about
years, but I miss McDonald's. I like 2 cheeseburgers.
You could still get McDonald's.
No, I can't. 2 cheeseburgers, just pickles, ketchup, mustard. That's it. No fries.
I got the kids McDonald's the other day. They don't really love it. I mean, they like the fries.
I don't,
but
the
they
Mc-
don't.
I
They
don't
don't really
understand people
love
that
it.
eat like the McFish. That's what I don't.
The filet-o-fish.
That's what I would get at Arby's.
That's the Designing Women episode where she
Arby's.
says,
Yeah, I get that at Arby's when I
the
was
fish
a kid.
sandwich, but not
Yeah.
McDonald's. You wouldn't get fish
I would
sandwich.
get the fish fillet at McDonald's. You know, there's McDonald's right over here. We could
Yes,
go.
We can
No.
take you. You want us
Yeah.
to take you? Look at us. We're such
"What are
drug
you
dealers.
not hearing? I
We're
don't.
drug dealers.
I'm trying to better myself." You're like, "Come on, it's right down the road. We can take you." Meaning, like, I can't drive myself. If I drive, I'm out. Ooh, this is so good. I can't. I can't control my feet.
Yeah, I think it would be out of control. You first bite into that burger.
Don't you eat filet fish stuff at places?
You don't think it's fish?
Well, listen, just like Designing Women, when Bernice says, because her niece is trying to declare her incontinent, or she says that it's incompetent, and she says, and every time we go to McDonald's, she always has to ask, is the fish fresh? And I always say, it's square fish, Phyllis, okay?
Square fish.
It is.
Oh, yeah,
It comes
oh,
in a
yeah.
square.
Yes.
It's
yeah.
compressed,
Yeah.
deep-fried square
It
fish.
tastes like
Phil.
fish,
So,
though.
yes, it's fresh.
It tastes like fish.
It's. I wonder why
Isn't that-
Wendy's doesn't sue them because they're like the square burger people, and so to have a
Isn't
square
that
fish.
terrible that like you would love like your Arby's and your McDonald's like filet of fish more than like a fish and chips at like an actual like fish store?
Yeah.
No, I
Because we
wouldn't
had a
because I don't. I mean, I would never prefer.
Well, after
I
you
would
go to
never
London,
prefer
you don't
that.
want
No, I
another
mean, I
fish and
sometimes-
chips.
I don't
No.
like fish and chips when I get it out. It's too much.
You would in London.
But I like a filet
you
of
would
fish.
in
from-
London, believe
I
me.
will go to most restaurants.
I'm not going to London anytime soon.
You could though.
Great.
Okay, whatever.
I
We
will
just-
go to most restaurants, and if they have fish and chips on the menu, I will contemplate it. If they have nachos, I will contemplate it.
Nachos are always a letdown
How
for me.
about a blue crab and cheese nachos?
That's very
Blue
nice, but
crab
like
meat-
that's not.
Is
that's
it too
not-
much for you? You want a traditional?
Well, I like my crab just like by itself.
So you would need a crab nacho, like.
Oh yeah, of course I would. What am I, a savage? But no, I would never like order that.
I'm not made of wood. Sure, I'd eat it.
Of course I'd eat it.
I have a pulse.
But no, fish and chips is there. I almost got it the other night with the boys. I went with the shrimp tacos instead, but
Captain D's.
I asked the waiter. I was like, "How's the fish and chips?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's good."
Well, you're at
But he
McDonald's?
didn't sell it. He was like,
Yeah.
he's one of those
Were
managers.
you at
who does-
McDonald's?
No.
I'm like,
don't
why
have
would you
fish and
talk to
chips.
customer ever? Hey, Josh, what do you think of the fish? It's compressed, better than deep fried. I don't know. It's square.
It's square.
No, you were at the nice restaurant. Is this when y'all went
Yeah.
out and had a steak and stuff?
Yeah, it's the same place I went with Tim. And when I went with Tim, we were walking out. Somebody got fajitas, and they brought it to the table. And it was sizzling, and we were like,
And you want
oh,
that.
I was like, oh my god, I gotta have fajitas. And so we went out to dinner with my mom, like I don't know, 4 days later. And I was like, let's go get fajitas, and we did, and they were awful. They're just awful. It was so disappointing. So, anyways, we went back to this restaurant. I'm going, well, this time I'm going to get the fajitas. And it was a special. And they didn't have it.
Well, it was especially
Oh.
bad when it was the other
That's
place.
bad.
Didn't have it.
Entertainment.
So, entertainment. Guilty pleasure. Is this a guilty pleasure in music?
Yeah.
I always loved
I don't know.
I always
I
loved
find
Weird
that
Al.
very judgmental.
Like, I will put Weird,
Weird
Al
Al's
songs
brilliant, though.
on,
But he's
on,
brilliant.
like a normal mix because...
Weird Al is a brilliant.
So that's not a guilty
wordsmith.
pleasure.
I mean, some people might think it's a guilty pleasure, but I don't think maybe they don't understand the definition.
So oldies, I don't think you consider a guilty pleasure, but
No.
but 80s is a guilty pleasure.
No,
No.
not at all.
No.
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 Eight-
So,
well,
so there
first
is
of all-
no music guilty pleasure.
But what? No,
I
no.
think that's
I mean,
too judgmental for
I-
music. TV's different. We can judge.
there is some stuff I listen to that I don't tell people I listen to music wise.
Like what?
Like Avril Lavigne, Britney Spears.
What's wrong with Avril Lavigne?
I don't know. I feel like people just think she's lame.
Standing on the street.
Love it.
That Funko
it.
just came out with the whole background of the video. That's one of my favorite videos.
It's thought that you be here
By now.
Yeah,
But
I guess some people would consider
I don't want to
Britney
judge.
Spears- I mean, she's got some bangers, but like some people would go,
yeah.
that's a guilty pleasure.
Some things like
Cher, is Cher a guilty pleasure?
No.
Feels like it.
Icon.
Wow. I think
Okay.
Matt's guilty pleasures are. I think we're helping him right now.
With
Well, first of all, when you
understanding
said the
what my-
'80s music,
Yes.
like
The
like
next
who?
time
Like,
I fall
who is the
in
80s?
love.
Wham?
Peter Cetera.
Oh, I don't.
Peter Cetera. Christopher Cross.
Come on, Peter Cetera is a little bit of Alphaville. Is that
Maybe
70s?
I just missed that whole decade.
No, the 80s.
That's 80s. That's not guilty pleasure.
I'll be the man who will fight for your honor.
Come on, that's a guilty pleasure, right? That's
No, it's one of the greatest
The
pop
Karate Kid 2
It's one of the
song?
greatest pop love songs ever written.
All right, I don't think we're going to find any guilty pleasures.
I don't think
in
judging
music.
music is. It's weird, but like theater, there's no guilty pleasure
The
with
Goo
theater.
Goo
'cause it
Dolls?
was just-
You know, maybe it's because I'm.
Okay, wait a minute.
Toad the Wet
Wait a
Sprocket?
minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a
I like
minute.
Chumbawamba.
Matt found an extra key on his keychain, and it's opened up a door, and it's called No. Yeah, Creed. No, that's. I don't listen to that, so I can't say it's a guilty
But
pleasure.
music is.
I'd
to
be.
me, it's very
I'm due to
emotional.
judge you for it though.
Like Nickelback, is it?
you take me higher.
Like Nickelback is a very successful band.
Just the name is just. No.
There are like 5 country songs I'll listen to, but that's pretty much it.
Where are we getting?
Otherwise,
Oh,
yeah,
country. Yeah.
I can't. But I mean,
Goo Goo
country's really
Dolls.
making
Yeah,
a
I'm not
comeback.
doing that.
I can't do
so
country.
there is some.
But it's not a pleasure for me.
No, so it's
You
just
should feel guilty for it. Yes.
Oh,
but
I
It's
should.
not a pleasure.
so it's just a matter of taste. It's not a matter of
It's hard with
like
music.
Journey. If I like am in the car, singing Journey, isn't that a bit of a guilty pleasure?
Wanna have you here each day, yeah.
From
Chicago
singing Open
Kid-
Arms or
Yes,
Faithfully.
I think Faith. Yes. Okay. That's like my
Those are
guilty
guilty
pleasure.
pleasures, right?
But Chicago is not.
no,
Chicago was a
No.
full-fledged motherfucking band, and Peter Cetera crushed it. Well, he actually did crush the whole band when he left.
Yeah. What about Michael McDonald? No.
The savior of multiple albums? No, he is a god.
Okay. Okay.
She's.
Claire's packing up.
Is a guilty pleasure of yours
Okay.
shopping?
Yeah. Well, is it a guilty? I don't feel guilty about it.
Matt's
I
done a lot
probably
of
should.
shopping this summer.
I have. I can't help it. Okay. So music is just a matter of taste.
Yeah, I mean, to me, music's very emotional. I'd never judge. I mean, I might judge somebody for their musical taste, but I wouldn't really say it to their face.
Is
of
a guilty
course.
pleasure having all the windows down in the car with the heat all the way up during the winter, or vice versa, having the air conditioning all the way up and the windows down?
I'm more guilty
should
of the
feel
latter,
guilty about
like
that.
the air conditioning on and the windows down.
I don't do it much.
I think
but it is nice.
I think I'm more judgmental than guilty pleasure, like you said. I think when I know that somebody likes a specific music, I'll go like, oh yeah, of course they like that.
Yeah, no, I do that too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that fucking
yeah.
that tracks. Yeah.
No, I feel bad because there's someone I talked to recently about their musical taste, and he told me what it was. I didn't know half the stuff he was talking about, but
Yeah.
then someone played something, and I just had a hard time like relating. And they were like, "Oh yeah, this," and I'm like, "Don't you listen to music for like?" You listen to the lyrics and like you garner like emotion from it, and he said no, absolutely not. And I'm like, okay, that I can't relate to, but I feel like it's very
I try to be very cautious and kind and negotiate well when somebody says like, oh, I love this show, I love this music, and wants to talk about it, and I have nothing to say.
yeah.
So why shit on somebody's stuff? They love it. That's great. Have fun with it.
Yeah, do what you got to do.
But then people want to talk and engage with you, and I'm like, what you're listening to is shit. But I'm not going to say that.
So let's look at movies before we do TV, because
Bro,
TV
yes.
seems to
Too big.
probably have the most guilty pleasures within it. Movies.
Yeah.
Is it a guilty pleasure that my mother will watch Hallmark movies from
Yes. And I
the
do.
end of
I just
the
want-
mid-October through
Yes.
February?
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
It-
she just watches them that a whole span of months?
It's
Oh yeah,
a-
yeah.
it's a
She'll
comfort.
she'll start real early.
I've already started.
Wait,
But like
holiday movies or
yeah.
oh okay.
I've already started.
like Hallmark holiday
That's,
movies.
I
yeah,
think that's adorable.
I've already started.
Well, of course.
No,
Brady's
but is it
already
a guilty
started.
I
pleasure?
just
you feel
watched the
a little
Christmas winery the other night because it's so bad.
Christmas winery.
Mm-hmm. Well, she
it
comes back home to save
winery?
the.
I want to
Or-
be.
She comes back home to save the family winery because they have to make the famous Christmas blend, and their dad died, and
Yeah.
he knew how to make the blend. She knows how to make it. No, the mom died. She knows how to make it better, but the dad doesn't want to change the blend. But they have to win the Christmas blender to get the money to get the acreage they need for the new land. And the acting is spectacularly bad. It's just
Wow.
a
This could have been
joy
any
to
80s
watch.
film, any 80s summer film.
It's all the same movie. It's all the same
To save
movie.
the camp, we need to win the regatta.
Yeah, it's all the same
yeah.
movie. I love them, and yes,
I
those
wanna-
are guilty
I wanna
pleasures.
Be
Yeah,
on,
guilty pleasures.
on
They are.
Grady's Christmas movie list.
No, he has a list.
I do.
know.
I-
I know he does. I'm surprised he's starting
So
in August.
let's
though.
make that an Advent,
September.
a December Advent, where Grady has
You know
to
why?
recommend.
Because they're
No,
comforting.
I need to
They're
start earlier.
comforting. They're comforting.
a 2-month Advent.
I mean, yeah, 2 months is good. After
So every
Halloween
day
is
you've
good.
got to recommend.
That's
A new
easy.
movie?
That's easy.
Okay, what other guilty pleasure movies? I love
Jaws.
like a nonstop action flick. Like
Where there's just nothing happening but action.
like the plot is so thin, but it's just like
Like the Mummy
a
Returns.
thriller. Yeah, yeah, just
I watched
action.
the last one with Jet Li. You know what happens in it? Nothing.
Nothing.
But action.
um,
Did I enjoy it? I thoroughly do. It's the Enter the Dragon King, or
yeah.
there's nothing happening in it.
Did either of you watch? And it's available
Yes.
on one of the streaming things. Bullet Train.
No.
Yes.
Should I?
It's that to me is a perfect.
Fantastic. Yes.
It's a perfect fun movie that doesn't cost anything in terms of plot, and it's
It
basically
doesn't take any emotion to
a
watch
big
it either.
fight.
It's just easy to watch.
yeah. It's Brad Pitt, and he is some sort of
Doesn't matter, Matt.
criminal.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I'm sorry.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I loved it. I think I saw it in the theater. I loved it.
But then you go into a movie like Train to Busan, which actually has a plot, and that's fucking brilliant. Anyway,
Yes.
Bullet Train is great.
I
It's
really
just
like that
fun.
type of movie.
It's fun.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll watch some stuff that I think you guys, I feel safe telling you guys the things that I've watched.
Well, you're telling the world or the 14 listeners right now.
You know what I've watched, and I'm like, oh guys, like don't watch this one. It was bad.
You watched, because I was watching it, Titanic 2.
Yeah,
Not again.
so good.
So at
But-
least we all will always have
So
that.
the made-for-TV movie.
Yeah, but that's not even made for TV. That's made for like, that was made
That's
for.
made for diehard Titanic fans.
I guess so. No,
I-
but wasn't
No?
that like a sci-fi? Remember when sci-fi before Sharknado used to have like
There's-
giant octopus
there's
versus
seven-
megalodon
yeah,
shark?
Yeah. But I loved those as a kid.
Right. But those are
Godzilla
guilty
versus.
pleasures.
Oh, I thought they were great as a kid. Now I look back, I guess
Godzilla like makes it legitimate though.
Godzilla legitimizes
King Kong makes it
everything.
legitimate.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about
Like-
that.
Guantanamo or whatever, I don't even know what that is. That's like
I just
I
like that
picture
we
that being
can-
like an octopus mixed with like a platypus.
I just
But
like
that
we
doesn't
can
seem
talk
scary.
about
Octopus,
we could talk about our guilty pleasures and like
a planet,
An octoplatypus?
what are we talking about? again?
movies.
Yeah, but what is Grady talking about?
Oh, like the
creature?
The
There's like
Sci-Fi Channel used to make up movies, and basically it was like the title of the big battle at the end.
Right.
So it would be like Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus.
like
Literally, those were the names
Vampire
of these movies.
turtle.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did just watch a shark one the other day.
It is like a slasher film. Is that a guilty pleasure?
I don't think so. I enjoy them. So that is a pleasure. Should it be
No, but like when when you get together with
like
your
Jason and
your,
all the Friday
your
the
friends and
13th?
when you get together with your friends
What friends?
and all your friends where you sit down and you talk about what's new on the National Theater,
Yes.
would you be
Who in
embarrassed?
the world
Yes.
am I talking to?
You're in the lounge.
Okay.
You're in the Delta One lounge.
Okay.
Talking to your friends about the National Theater.
Okay.
And they're like, "Yeah, of course.
Odd
I
Place.
just got the latest version of Yerma." Would you be embarrassed to tell them
that
that
I
you
also
like
watch
these slasher films?
No,
Yes.
not at all.
Okay.
I
Then
think
not a guilty pleasure.
I think it creates a well-rounded view to watch everything that's on like in New York Magazine, the approval
Yeah.
matrix. I think it takes to watch everything.
What,
To
so
watch the guilty pleasures and the shitty, just basic shit stuff, and then
Yeah.
the great stuff too.
okay.
You learn a lot from bad acting as well.
So what about TV? Let's close it up with TV guilty pleasures. Obviously, my favorite guilty pleasure is Love Island.
Is Love
obviously,
Island,
yeah,
yeah.
because I love it. But I have watched other things like Are You the One, Too Hot to Handle.
You and I
I
watch
recently
a lot
have
of
been
trash.
watching the UK version of Love Is Blind. I will watch all of that romantic horseshit. And I'm
prefabricated.
very, very guilty about it. Very guilty.
Do you have one TV show that you're like, this shouldn't? Like, what is it?
I mean, I'm not a huge I don't watch a lot of reality TV, but
but when
definitely
you do,
like I did get on board with Love Is Blind for 1 or 2 seasons.
I think
and
the guilty
I'm
pleasures. I
just-
love all the crime documentaries. I don't know why we.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
because I don't know really know why we glorify them or why they're relaxing. But I guess when you take your mind is totally put on
Like
somebody
an
else's
unfolding story.
completely
Yeah.
horrifying, terrible. Oh my God, how could this even happen? Story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit off, and
Well,
you're like, why?
sometimes,
I don't know.
I want they make those shows so like dramatic, and then I get so into it, and then I'm like, wait,
Yeah,
but
This is-
it's all a trap. It's all a trap.
Yeah,
It's all
it's a formula. So reality TV, obviously, the most apparent guilty pleasure. Adult cartoons, are those guilty pleasures? Are the procedural dramas like
I
Grey's
think-
Anatomy?
I
Are
can't
those
stand- I just don't like those.
anything that gets past a 12th season? Is that then considered a guilty pleasure? If you're watching season 15 of a procedural like Law and Order, or is that a
I
guilty
haven't
pleasure?
made it that far in a procedural, but
I can't watch them. The acting's that acting that's bad that thinks it's good. I can't watch.
Well,
Well, it's the acting that's bad that's just bad, like the Hallmark
Right.
where they know what they're getting into, but this other stuff,
That's all right for you.
just fake stuff, and like you don't know what you're talking about
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the frontal lobe cortex knife. You've got to. She's not going to make it.
No.
I know.
All right, so we're going to
Yeah.
close up shop.
well, you guys can keep going.
We're not going to
No,
go
I think
without
this
you.
is nice and tight.
Yeah, this is a tight 51 minutes.
This is
Beautiful.
51 minutes.
Yeah.
51 minutes is what we
Wow,
talked about
feels
guilty
much
pleasures.
shorter.
My
Maybe
guilt-
maybe we do a part 2. Who knows? Maybe we prepare next
Oh,
time.
okay, maybe.
Something like that. Anyways,
Yeah.
thanks for listening to Last Will Podcast. Oh, it's such a sweet little nod to farties. Oh, there we go. Now it's wet. Thank you. So what do we say? We say don't judge. Everybody's got guilty pleasures. So let's not judge them, lest we be judged ourselves. Is that it? Lest we be judged ourselves. Least wouldn't make any sense. Ew. Way to go, Matthew. So guilty pleasures. That was a fun one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for listening to the Last Will Podcast. Thank you for coming and listening on Mondays. If you listen on Mondays, it is fine if you listen on Tuesdays. It's fine if you listen on Wednesdays, Thursdays, or Fridays. It's fine if you listen whenever. If you like what you heard, please rate, review, and subscribe. Thank you for listening. And as always, onward, forward.